All right, now we're going to get on to the part that you all came here for besides the great meal, and that's going to be the 2025 Pathmakers Awards. And we're going to start it off with neighborhood groups that were just started, and Matt Weinstein, who is on the advisory board as well as photographer, will take it from here. That's what I love about this organization. You fill in everywhere.
I've been told to make it very short, so I'll try. But I wonder if you all saw this flyer that we're just hot off the press on Venezuela. And since you're a captive audience here tonight, there are phone numbers for the Senate and the House, one number. Make 3 calls tomorrow to the 2 senators and to your rep and tell them we don't want another war. That's the last thing we need. We need health care, good schools, affordable housing, not endless wars. Please make those calls. Take these on the way out. Okay, before I make my presentation, I just asked Charlotte what number Pathmakers to Peace this is. It's number 12. Been doing this a long time. We skipped 2020 for the pandemic. But we're here tonight to honor folks who have made significant contributions to the movement for peace and justice. But before I get to that, and this is where Diane is going to have a fit, I'm sure, I want to do a quick Brooklyn for Peace poll. Show of hands. Show of hands. How many of you were involved in civil rights protests of the 50s and 60s? Raise your hand. Woo! It's a large number. How many protested the war against Vietnam? Almost the entire world. Iraq, Afghanistan. You know, I come from the Peace and Economic Justice Committee of Brooklyn for Peace, but we were always called that. We used to be called the Iraq Committee. Then we were called the Iraq-Afghanistan Committee. And then we said, too many wars, and then it got too long. So we switched to Peace and Economic Justice, trying to connect those 2 issues of cutbacks to our standard of living because of our screwed up priorities of our congressmen who are beholden to the weapons industry and get lots of money from them, so they vote for them instead of for us. How many fought against Andrew Cuomo's austerity? This was left out of the campaign when he closed 12 hospitals in Brooklyn. Then we found ourselves in a pandemic with not enough beds. How many protested those closures? How many of you joined in favor of raising the minimum wage? Remember the fight for 15? Raise your hands. And we got it, and it's gone higher. How many of you have taken action to curb the climate crisis? A beautiful bunch of people, let me say. And how many of you have been on delegations to meet with House members, senators, and local officials? Raise your hand. Gone to their office and confronted them. Thank you, Whitney. Here's my final question. How many of you were in the historic November 8th Brooklyn Let Gaza Live march that marched from Jeffrey's house, 4 blocks from my house, to Schumer's house, 5 blocks from my house? Raise your hand. That was an amazing march, and it got the support of 22 organizations. So Brooklyn for Peace participated in each and every one of those struggles and many more. Did you know that we were originally Brooklyn Parents for Peace? 1984, a bunch of parents got together, I think in Carroll Gardens or in Brooklyn, and protested the Navy's plan to put a nuclear port in Staten Island. It never happened. And I think a large part of that goes to the parents who got together and then formed Brooklyn Parents for Peace. Later on, as more and more people joined who weren't necessarily parents, we became Brooklyn for Peace. And now we might be called Brooklyn Great-Grandparents for Peace. That's a joke, but it might be not far from the truth. Okay, now on to the honorees for tonight. They, I am proud to say, are walking in the path that we and you who raised your hands tonight all blazed over many years. There are literally thousands of years of experience in the struggle for peace and justice sitting in this room. I started with Vietnam in my college days. That was 60 years ago. So that's one person. There were dozens that raised their hands. So you figure it out. But it's many, many hundreds of years of experience of fighting for peace and social and racial justice. So based on that, you guys are the path makers to peace. And today's honorees are blazing new paths to peace. And they are walking in the footsteps that you and we blazed. Those paths. We've had immense impacts on our communities, I'm proud to say. We have personally handed out tens of thousands of flyers on the various issues that we've been involved with. People know us in Brooklyn for Peace. And they always say, thank you for being here. When we're at the Green Market or at any other street corner handing out these flyers, we collected over 1,000 signatures on petition to Congress on Gaza and delivered them in person. Okay, tonight's honorees, I'm proud to say that yes, they're walking in the path that we blazed, and they are forming new paths to peace. They represent a new and growing force of peace and justice advocates in our community. And they've been in the forefront of protests against Israel's brutal, decades-long occupation and its ongoing campaign of ethnic cleansing, intentional starvation, that's a nice combination of words, isn't it? And unremitting carpet bombing, in a word, genocide. And they have also connected the dots between the war of slaughter by Israel to the unremitting support by our country's government, which has given, as Rusty said, and continues to give billions of dollars, logistical support, software, and unlimited bombs and bullets and drones and jets with which to deliver them. And further, those groups make the most singular point that we need the money going to support a genocide to be brought home to our communities, to provide health care, 21st century schools, and mass transit, and food aid for the hungry Americans. Mass transit, food, and hungry aid for the hungry Americans, a vigorous and sustained fight to curb the climate crisis and all the other urgent necessities that go wanting due to the influence of powerful and wealthy lobbies like AIPAC and those merchants of death that Eisenhower warned us about, the weapons industry. Okay, so first